So you streaming?
No, I'm not streaming. Damn, he left.
What's I supposed to say? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
Bamba, what's up, my youth? What's up, my youth? Bamba,
You guys been to Jamaica?
I have.
Yes, man, them been to Jamaica.
Man, them been to Jamaica.
Hey, yeah, Bamba class. Shut up.
Hey, I have a question for you three. I have a question for you three.
What that question? What, man?
What do you think the purpose of life is?
Oh.
Oh. Damn. Emeka, that's your take that one.
The purpose of life is to find the purpose of life, man.
Let me tell you what I think the purpose.
That's
of life.
existentialism. Have you done philosophy? Where is he? Where'd he go?
Philosophy right now.
That's existentialism. That you don't have a purpose until you find a purpose.
Would you be mad if you skipped? No, Kimmy, where
Do you know what I think the purpose of life is? I think the purpose of life is just to be living and to be living in your truth, in your God-given talents. So whatever God gave you, you got to hone that and use that to make other people smile.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think the purpose of life is.
So the purpose of life is to make people smile.
I think so.
What if someone gets purpose from killing people? What if that makes him smile?
Then that's what God put them on the earth for. That's what God put them on the earth.
Maybe God put them on the earth to serve as a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that someone is doing something wrong by killing others in order to smile?
Oh, no,
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, they're definitely doing something.
So if they're doing something wrong, how can they not be following their purpose then?
At the end of the
Not
day,
everybody's destined for greatness,
You see the contradiction?
not really.
but nobody's
No,
destined for
I see
greatness.
that.
God put everybody on this
has their own
earth.
path.
God put everybody on this earth for a
You guys,
purpose.
I'm trying to have an eloquent conversation.
No, like he put everybody on this world for a reason.
Yeah.
So if he decides somebody should do that, it's probably for a lesson. You know?
But I'm asking about the right and wrong of the issue. If he's doing what he's here to do, how could it be wrong if he's killing people in order for him to smile?
Whose definition of wrong is
Hold up.
it? So
Let
is it the world's review or is it his view?
Let me turn it back on you.
Really, it's
I actually don't know what your view is, ma'am. I'm asking him because I don't know what your view is yet. He's the one who said that.
Let me turn it back on you. Let me turn it back.
Go
on
ahead.
You. What do you think is the purpose of life?
The purpose of life is to do what our Creator wants us to do.
How do you know he even exists though?
Well, we can have a conversation if you would like to. I don't know if somebody's gonna skip me soon, so you want to know how I know God exists?
That happens.
Just keep speaking. Like where
You want to know how I know God exists?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the impossibility of the contrary. If you deny the existence of God, then you have no basis for universal moral ethics, universal laws of logic, and the scientific method of induction. No basis for it.
So, are you a Christian, or you just believe in God?
Well, I'm a Christian philosopher, so I go beyond just being a Christian. I'm an intellectual Christian.
Type shit.
Man,
Do you
But do you understand what I just said? That no universal moral ethics, no laws of logic, and no scientific method of induction.
so you're basically saying that if God didn't exist, there would be no purpose.
I'm saying if you deny the existence of God, you wouldn't have a basis for a purpose.
Okay, so
Word.
I have a question. What did you go to? Did you go to college?
No, I'm an autodidact right now. That means self-taught. You just buy books and study. Anybody can do that. Anybody can do that.
Do you
Because
know who
information in our age is very free.
Do you know who Aristotle is?
I've heard about him.
Do you look up to him or not?
He's just one of the many philosophers who came and gone.
So who's a philosopher that you look up to?
I actually don't look up to any philosophers. I just find them interesting.
Who's your favorite?
You don't have a favorite. You just
Well, my favorite one is Descartes. He's the one who coined the principle of I think, therefore I am. He was skeptical about everything.
if you know Descartes, then you know he probably said that it's possible that there is no God but an
Yeah.
evil demon. So like the whole mathematical or induction, whatever he said, we could like just assume that there's a demon like making us believe what we believe. I mean, you could wake up now and say 2 + 2 is 4. I mean, that's empirically true. But what if we're made to think that 2 + 2 is 4? What if we're made to think that there's a God? What if you're made to think that asking this question right now is important?
That's a good question. And my answer to that question is there is a category in Christian theology where we actually believe that all our actions, thoughts, and deeds are determined and decreed by God, yet we are responsible for our actions. So in a sense, everything I say, everything I think, everything I do is determined by God. So it
But
doesn't present a problem.
But that's a contradiction because you're assuming there's a God to prove that there's a God.
Yeah, I like this conversation. There is an assumption that I have, and there is an assumption that you have. All of us have assumptions, but the assumptions that we have to be examined according to reality. Which one of our assumptions can account for the intelligibility of the universe, induction, science, moral ethics, and logic? All of us have an assumption. Because I could ask you all the question, how do you know the room you're in is room temperature? And you would say,
It's not.
Like even the whole stuff about comparing to reality, there is no guarantee that right now I'm sleeping. I mean, what you people do stuff in their dreams, and you could be like, oh, I'll slap myself and I'll wake up. You will feel that pain in your sleep.
I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
Could you be wrong about everything you claim to know?
Yes.
Okay. Don't skip me yet, please. I want to finish this one.
Okay.
If I say that outside my house, the speed limit on the road is 50 miles per hour, but I could be wrong, do I know it?
No.
So that means if you say you could be wrong about everything you claim to know, you don't know anything.
True.
But if you don't know anything, how do you know you don't know anything?
Yeah.
You see the contradiction?
Yeah.
But with the Christian worldview, I have a basis for epistemology, ethics, laws of logic, and the scientific method of induction. But without the Christian worldview, you don't know anything.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
How do you feel about Avengers Infinity War?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
It's very entertaining, and it depends on which part of the movie you're talking about, because that movie is like, was it 3 hours long?
Yeah, the part about like controlling reality and things. Because you guys were talking about reality and
Like
things.
the fact that like man can actually control reality and snap their fingers and change the way people see.
Yeah. Because I
the
find
whole
it funny how
reality.
nobody in that movie died.
Mhm.
They just disappeared. They just
Do you
ceased
think
to
that there's?
exist.
Do you think that if we were in the same position, that our reality would be controlled by someone? Do you see it as being controlled?
Yeah.
Like a.
Well, as a Christian philosopher, I do believe that our reality is controlled by someone, and that's God.
You have free will.
I want to ask you a question before I answer that. What is free will?
The fact that every human makes their choice and they determine their own destiny.
And they're.
All right. I'm going to answer it for you, and don't take my word for it. Look this up after we get off of here. Free will is the control condition for moral responsibility. If you look it up, that's what you'll see. The control condition for moral responsibility, which means that if you are in control of your actions, you are responsible for your actions. That's free will. All of us have a will. A will is a desire to do what we want to do. What we do, we're responsible for. But we're also determined to do what we do. Everything. But hey, man, in the other guy in the glasses, did you get what I was saying though, right? You can't know anything unless you have a basis.
Can I ask a question? One more question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about moral ethics in relation to Christianity?
Moral ethics in relation to Christianity. What do I think about it? I think that the Christian moral ethic is the correct one. If you give it up, you're going to find yourself in a similar problem that your friend found himself in. And it's called moral subjectivism. That everybody, go ahead.
Okay, one last question. Would you like? There's a concept in the Bible of just that every Christian has to spread the good news. So would you say that you're spreading the good news right now, being on Monkey and like talking to people about Christian ethics?
Yeah, that is what I'm doing. It's called online evangelism.
Type shit.
So the way I do it as a Christian philosopher is I show that the worldview that people are proposing that's not Christianity, it's going to fall on its head, kind of like what happened earlier with the knowledge thing. If it's not Christianity, it's going to fall on its head. And then I show the Christian worldview is the correct one to have, and the gospel, the most important message in the universe.
What's your success rate?
Hold on.
My success rate?
Yeah.
Well, so far, all the conversations I've had intellectually have shown the other worldview to be false. They fall on their heads.
I have one more question. What do you think? What's your view on people that are atheists and how turning them into Christians is effective in the world?
What do I think about atheists and how to turn them into Christians?
Yeah, what's your view on the transition from turning atheist to Christianity? Is there a philosophical way of viewing it?
Yeah. Christianity is not just a religion. It is also a philosophy. Why? Because it answers all of the questions that philosophy brings forward. Atheism is a philosophy because it denies the metaphysical being called God. And it proposes moral subjectivism, that every individual human being gets to choose what's right for them and what's wrong for them. But that can't work in a society, because if you all decide what's right for you and what's wrong for you, and I decide what's right for me and what's wrong for me, if one of you say that what's right for you is to kill me, the only thing that can stop you is if I'm mightier than you. So in a world like that, might makes right, and nobody can live like that. That's what happens when you give up objective moral ethics, which Christianity has.
Bars.
You should become a professor.
I was about to say you should try a podcast too.
Well, that's actually the goal. I'm going to be a professor of philosophy and theology. So I come on here and I have little discussions like this, and it's usually fun.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This was a good conversation.
Yeah, this was great.
It's gonna have us thinking.
Thank you guys so much for having me and for not skipping me. God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace. That was fun.